What happens when two of country music's biggest names collide live on television? And it all spirals into one of the most explosive confrontations daytime TV has ever seen. The Kelly Clarkson Show was supposed to be a lighthearted, routine stop for Jason Aldean, just another afternoon of jokes, stories, and a few song plugs. But what unfolded that day left the audience speechless, the crew frozen, and the internet in flames. It began like any other episode. Studio lights glowed across the set, soft yet bright enough to give that familiar afternoon shimmer viewers recognize instantly. Kelly sat at her desk, papers neatly stacked, her voice cheerful as she joked with her team. Behind the curtain, Jason adjusted his denim jacket, gave his Stetson hat a quick pat, and cracked a grin to the makeup artist hovering nervously beside him. The audience could already feel the excitement. Cowboy boots tapped against the stage floor. Fans whispered and giggled, clutching their phones, ready to capture every second. Many had traveled from out of state just to see Jason Aldean, a bona fide country superstar, share the stage with Kelly Clarkson, one of America's most beloved voices. "All right, we're live in 3, 2, the floor manager mouthed, counting down. Kelly straightened her posture, flashed her signature smile, and faced the camera. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced, her voice bright and full of warmth, "please welcome the one and only Jason Aldean." The audience roared. Jason strode out from the wings, confident as ever, waving to the fans who cheered and reached toward him. His grin looked easy, natural, but there was a flicker in his eyes, something tighter than usual. He shook Kelly's hand, the two exchanged polite smiles, and he dropped into the soft chair opposite hers. Kelly started light as always. "Jason, welcome back. It's been, 3 years since you were last here?" "Something like that," Jason replied, his tone just a bit rougher than expected. "Time flies when you're actually out there, making real music instead of sitting behind a desk." The audience laughed at first, unsure whether it was meant as a joke, but the tension was instant. Kelly's smile flickered, barely noticeable, but the kind of moment a live camera never misses. "Well," she said smoothly, recovering, "you've definitely been busy. Your latest album's been getting a lot of attention, some of it pretty controversial. How do you handle the critics?" Jason leaned back, tapping his fingers on the armrest. "Critics don't mean much to me. Most of them wouldn't recognize country music if it bit them. They sit in their offices, writing reviews about songs they don't even understand." Kelly nodded, her expression polite but tight. "I hear you," she replied evenly. "Though some folks might say your sound's changed. Gotten a little more, let's say, mainstream?" Jason's eyes narrowed. "Mainstream sells, Kelly, and last I checked, that's what this business is about. Not everyone's lucky enough to sit in a studio 5 days a week talking about other people's work." The crowd murmured. Kelly's shoulders stiffened, but her voice stayed steady. "You know, Jason, I actually love this job. I get to talk to incredible artists, including you, and share their music with fans. It's about celebrating the work, not competing with it." Jason gave a short laugh. "Celebrating? Feels more like judging to me. Maybe that's why your own music career slowed down. Too busy critiquing everyone else's." The words hit like a slap. The audience fell silent. Even the camera crew froze, eyes darting toward the floor manager for a cue that didn't come. Kelly's jaw tightened. She inhaled slowly, visibly recentering herself before speaking again. "And you know what the sad part is about you, Jason?" she said finally, voice calm but cold. "You're so bitter about your own failures that you can't see success when it's standing right in front of you. I'm not stuck here. I chose to be here. There's a difference, and the fact that you can't see it tells me everything about why your career is where it is." For a long, unbearable moment, Jason didn't move. His eyes locked with hers, hard and unblinking. Anger flickered across his face, then frustration, then something like hurt. "I'm done with this," he said quietly. He reached up, unclipped his microphone, and let it fall onto the coffee table, with a loud crack that echoed through the soundstage. "Good luck with your show. Kelly, I hope the ratings bump from this little stunt is worth it." Kelly didn't break eye contact. Her voice, when it came, was icy calm. "Oh, I think it will be. Thanks for the content, Jason. It's been educational." Without another word, Jason stood, adjusted his hat, and walked off stage. The soles of his boots struck the polished floor, sharp and steady, until the sound faded behind the studio doors. When they swung shut, The heavy thud seemed to mark the end of something far bigger than an interview. For a few long seconds, the studio was silent. No music, no laughter, just stunned stillness. The crew didn't move. The audience didn't breathe. Phones were already raised, cameras recording, hands trembling. Kelly sat perfectly still, her hands clasped tightly together. Then, as the director signaled, she looked into the lens. Her expression composed again, voice unwavering. "Well," she said softly, "that was certainly unexpected. We'll be right back after this break." The red camera light blinked off. The audience exhaled as if waking from a dream. Crew members exchanged uneasy glances. Whispers rippled across the set. Kelly leaned back in her chair, her breathing slow and shallow. For the first time since the confrontation began, her composure cracked. Her fingers trembled slightly as she reached for her mug, pretending to sip water she didn't really taste. Offstage, Jason pushed through the hallway, ignoring the shouts from his publicist. The air outside was cool, the sharp scent of asphalt cutting through his anger. Cameras from waiting paparazzi caught him storming to his truck. His jaw set, his eyes fixed ahead. Inside, the show's staff scrambled. Producers huddled in corners, discussing whether to cut the segment or air it in full. Social media staffers were already uploading snippets, unable to resist the viral potential of what had just happened. Kelly stayed in her chair long after the audience was ushered out. Her expression was blank, but her mind raced. She'd been through awkward interviews before one, but never one that turned so personal so fast. She thought about the moment his tone changed. The way his words had carried more than irritation. They'd carried resentment. When filming resumed later that afternoon, Kelly carried on like a pro, smiling through the rest of the show as if nothing had happened. But behind the polished charm, her thoughts kept drifting back to the confrontation, replaying every line, every look. By the time the episode aired, the internet had exploded. Clips of Jason's walk-off spread across every platform: TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, each captioned with a slightly different spin. Fans chose sides. Some blamed Kelly for baiting him. Others said Jason showed his true colors. The moment became more than an awkward interview. It was a pop culture event. Commentators dissected every second, the tone in Jason's voice, the tension in Kelly's jaw. The exact moment things shifted from playful banter to open hostility. News outlets called it the talk show meltdown,
while others dubbed it the country clash heard round the world.
Behind the scenes, both teams issued statements. Jason's camp claimed he'd been blindsided by disrespectful questions. Kelly's rep said she'd simply been doing her job. But viewers weren't buying PR. They'd seen the raw emotion play out live, unfiltered. For Kelly, the confrontation became a defining moment. Proof that even under pressure, she could hold her ground. For Jason, it became a shadow he couldn't quite shake. The image of him storming off stage played again and again on late-night shows, reaction videos and news segments. And yet, beyond all the noise, one truth remained. Something deeper had fueled that blow-up. Maybe it was pride, maybe years of rivalry, or maybe two people, both passionate about their craft, had simply collided at the wrong moment. Either way, it was a moment that reminded everyone, watching just how unpredictable live television can be, where one stray comment can ignite a fire that burns long after the cameras stop rolling. So what do you think really caused Jason Aldean to walk off that stage? Was it Kelly's jab about critics? Or was there something more, an old grudge, an unspoken tension that finally boiled over? Whatever the reason, one thing's certain. This wasn't just a TV moment. It was a cultural flashpoint. Two country powerhouses locked in a battle of pride. Words and egos broadcast for the world to see. Subscribe and tell me in the comments what you think was the real breaking point that pushed Jason Aldean to his unforgettable walk-off.